Well, you can edit this, can't you?
I just chop off the beginning and the end is what I do, basically.
That's what they all do.
This is Kelly Hill, technology reporter with RCR Wireless News. I'm here at the LTE Innovation Summit, and I'm here talking with LaMedica, who is a telecom consultant and has a long history with Verizon Wireless.
Absolutely. Started back in the early days of AT&T and was there for 44 years, so had a long history.
Great. Well, maybe you can give us kind of a sense of what you're going to be talking about here at the event.
Well, a little of it was over the years we had launched, a number of technologies starting after AMPS, doing CDMA and DO and DO Rev A, and finally with LTE. And over the years, a lot of the lessons that we had learned and some of the experiences that, sometimes you learn the hard way on how to launch some technology. And I think sitting through the summit the last, all of today, you kind of hear the same themes that, I'll be kind of talking about it. So.
And are there lessons learned from the previous launches that are applicable to LTE?
Oh, absolutely. The whole thing about you hearing voice over LTE, I mean, we kind of cut our teeth on trying to launch CDMA with voice, and it had a lot of very similar characteristics to the problems that people are having. So, it's sort of like deja vu.
And are there unique challenges to LTE as well with the all IP environment?
Well, I think each technology brings its own set of challenges, mainly because you have to develop new techniques or new test equipment or even get into test plans so that you got some confidence in them that they're actually giving you the results you want. So, I mean, over time, those things sort themselves out, but you can go back to what we have done in the past and you see a lot of very, very similar kinds of issues. They just kind of repeat themselves in a different format.
Now, one of the issues that has come up repeatedly today is the issue of interworking with legacy networks. And it seems like that's a challenge that we're dealing with a lot in terms of the complexity of the networks. How do you see that affecting the industry?
Well, it's interesting. I sat through that and it was deja vu. I sat through this and remembered doing AMPS to CDMA handoffs, and until the network's actually built out, that was horrible. I mean, people had to hand down from CDMA to analog, and it wasn't really a very pleasurable experience. And what you're hearing here is very similar things. So I kind of agree. Over time, a lot of that just goes away, and the complexity will go away. And many of the carriers don't really want to be running 2 and 3 networks. That's not very efficient from a cost standpoint, and it's not a very good customer satisfier. So I do agree. I think there'll be a pretty rapid change to moving to LTE once voice gets established, and I think they're going to try and get out of a lot of those legacy networks. It just doesn't make financial sense.
And what about the factor in terms of devices? A lot more complicated, more demanding devices and demanding applications. Does that factor into this too?
Well, I think it does. I mean, I think with the advent of smartphones, you added a whole new level of complexity to being able to do more with the device. In the early days, just being able to make a phone call was a plus. Today, people expect the phone call plus all the other features to work seamlessly. And on top of that, they expect them to work around the world. So, I mean, there's a lot of effort that goes into, making sure that all of that functions in some reasonable expectation. I've been involved in a lot of projects where, in the early days, getting it to work in one network was you were ready to celebrate. But now that you got to do it around the world, that's got to be done at launch, and people expect it. So.
And integrating Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and all the other standards as well.
Absolutely. It's just another level of detail that has to be addressed. But what's good about it is that I think the industry has grown up enough that this isn't really, I don't want to downplay it as not challenging, but we've done this before. So a lot of this is just really sticking to what you know, go back, do the right amount of testing. There's plenty of smart people out there in the industry. When we first started in this industry, the only smart people that I knew in this industry were down the road at Qualcomm. Today, they're around the world, and you see that with who's at this summit.
Okay. Lou, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, and I appreciate it. I hope this was helpful. Okay.
And that's it. So, were you the one who?